Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Esteem a New Woman. The devilish diva starts on the road to becoming a new creature in Christ in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem a New Woman at Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. A Mount Vernon man is accused of killing his niece in a dispute over a family inheritance.
Shocking development in the deadly shooting of a woman in the Bronx. Her uncle is now charged with her murder, and police say the motive involved an ongoing family dispute over the inheritance of a home. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis is live at the courthouse in Melrose. Marcus?
And Sade, that dispute had been going on for a few months. In April, Michael Foster had his charge filed against his niece, claiming she forged his name on a deed. That charge was eventually dropped because investigators say he didn't cooperate with them. Now prosecutors say he had his niece murdered. Michael Foster said nothing as detectives walked him out of the 47th precinct last night. That's just a mile from where the NYPD crime scene unit spent hours collecting evidence, removing weapons, including a long gun from his house in Mount Vernon, the same two-family home where his niece Julia Anderson lived. The 39-year-old was shot to death Monday night in her car just after leaving work. Omaira Andino is the CEO of the nonprofit organization the victim worked for 17 years.
There's not one bad word uttered about her. She cared so much about the people that she supports. We even wanted to give her a promotion at one point, and she said, no, I love what I'm doing.
That work was providing care for developmentally disabled adults. Anderson had just completed her 4 to midnight shift and was parked across the street from the group home when she was shot multiple times. The bullets fired from the passenger side of her Jeep.
I just finished a town hall meeting to talk to staff about it, and shock is probably the least I could say it is, but devastation is definitely is probably more accurate.
Investigators believe the motive is a dispute over inheritance of the family home. Records list the owner as Isilda Foster, who died in 2023. The suspect, allegedly angry his mother left the house to her oldest grandchild. Andino says hearing Anderson's uncle is charged with murder is like something out of a movie.
She was well loved. It really is a devastating news to hear when someone just passes away. We've had employees pass away for illness. This is different.
And again, firearms recovered at the home. Foster prohibited from owning them. He had previously pled guilty to manslaughter for a 1991 shooting in Mount Vernon. As far as this case, he has been remanded. He is charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession. And we're live in the Bronx. Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Now, according to reports, 58-year-old Michael Foster is accused of taking the life of 39-year-old Julia Anderson, his niece. And according to those reports, Michael Foster is accused of taking the life of Julia Anderson in a dispute over the family home he believed he was supposed to inherit after the owner, Ilda Foster, wound up sadly passing away in 2023. Now, this man was allegedly upset that his mother left the family home to the oldest grandchild and believes that this woman, Julia Anderson, possibly forged his signature on the deed and led to this property being given to someone else. And as a result, Michael Foster then looked to file papers in the court to dispute the ownership of the property. However, as he didn't want to cooperate with the people in the courts, eventually things wound up escalating, and as a result, Julia Anderson was shot multiple times as she was inside her Jeep Grand Cherokee on Murdoch Avenue in the Wakefield section of the Bronx. Now, the police are seeing this as an isolated incident. However, when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions of Michael Foster, they definitely fit within the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And Michael Foster's whole actions basically show how he had no real critical thinking skills or problem-solving skills, and went out here and allegedly acted on impulse, looking to take the life of his niece all over this property, that in a situation that could have been settled inside of a housing court. Now, Michael Foster did at one time look to go out here and settle this dispute in court. Unfortunately, he basically was too emotional to go out here and let the process go through. No, instead of looking to go out here and work to get this process done through the courts, and when it comes to the courts, it may take months and even years for them to go out here and settle a dispute. This is what Michael Foster didn't want to do. No, he was all caught up in his feelings. And as he was caught up in his feelings about possibly, as he believed, being swindled out of his family home, that's where he simmered and boiled in anger. And as he simmered and boiled in anger, he eventually wound up exploding in rage and took his rage out on his family member and looked to possibly wind up taking her life by going and allegedly shooting her with several of the multiple weapons he had in his possession. And as he basically wound up, as he was accused of shooting and killing his niece, basically, police did their investigation, and as they did their investigation, they then found multiple weapons inside of Michael Foster's home, and this man basically put himself in a worse situation that he was in previously, because he had previously had been locked up as related to previous manslaughter charges, and now, instead of having a dispute over a family home, he's basically on the road to possibly going to a new permanent home where it will be inside of a prison cell, and he will possibly go from being in a place where he was in a dispute over a family home to going out here and living with a new family of uncles that are the COs, and a social pecking order of siblings such as Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, and basically will be going through a new family ritual as he's traded possibly 4 Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Keef coffee, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand orange drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand kiwi strawberry drink, off-brand mango drink, off-brand apple juice, off-brand cranberry juice, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt's snack pack puddings, beef jerky with cheddar cheese, beef jerky with mozzarella cheese, beef jerky with Monterey Jack cheese, Velveeta cheese packets, beef summer sausage, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, bear claws, pound cakes. Basically, he'll be traded for many items in the commissary, and as he's basically, again, had his tight end turned once again into a wide receiver, then Mr. Sprinkles gonna come in after the spit roast, and then spray this guy's front side, having it look like some fried chicken, then spray his backside, and then call over the guys from Cell Block D to split as he splits the cheeks open and shows dude's backside looking like the inside of Louisiana crunch cake. And that's where this guy will possibly, again, be sitting there realizing that he has inherited a nightmare as related to his life, and instead of him inheriting his mother's family home, basically he's now going to have a permanent home inside of the penitentiary. And that's what happens, sadly, when you don't do any sort of critical thinking or have any discipline or patience to let the whole process of things go through. Because had this guy basically just had that whole patience, he could have gone through the courts and possibly got himself his property that he believes that was taken from him. If he could go out here and prove that it was a forgery, again, he could have possibly settled this dispute. But because he was basically one of these beta males who got caught up in his feelings, he's gone from being able to have this home to now having no home at all. And now this whole property now is in limbo because now this woman is dead. So nobody's getting the property. And as nobody black is getting the property, sadly, a black family has lost their home. And they've all lost their home all because of a man in crisis. A man in crisis who wasn't raised with any sort of discipline or self-control. And because he had no discipline or self-control, he took the life of a family member, again, compounding the tragedy that took place with the passing of his mother, again, compounding the tragedy because he basically got caught up in his feelings. And if this family member was ratchet and did this, again, caught up in their greed, and again, what happens here is a great tragedy, but this is a sad state of affairs that is par for the course with beta males. And with beta males, they participate in these type of situations where they, again, escalate things. And as they escalate things, they make things just that much harder for an entire family as related to dealing with a tragedy, and compound those tragedies even more because these men don't know how to be patient. They don't have any discipline. They don't have any self-control, and they turn a family situation into one that is quite troubling because these men don't know how to lead, and all they do is cause chaos. And that's what this man in crisis did when he went out here and is accused of taking the life of this family member and basically, again, throwing this whole family into complete turmoil. Now, if you want to learn to identify the behavior of beta males, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos talking about The Man Crisis, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Runway of Doom. The goddess next door struts her stuff on the catwalk to take on a runway of rogues in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS Runway of Doom at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse. The man who rules the world gets a job offer he can't refuse in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.